Okay. I'd like to call the board meeting of January 20th, 2026 of the Menlo Park Fire Protection District Board of Directors meeting to order at 7:03. Roll call, please, Michelle.
Director Bernstein?
Present.
Director Bloom?
Here.
Director Jones?
Here.
Director Crowe?
Present.
Director Solano?
Here.
Great, we have a form and let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
You want to lead the pledge of allegiance here?
No.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, for our next item, which is item 1, is public comment. So I'd like to open up public comment for items that are not on the agenda. Do you have any split? No one on Zoom? Okay, then I'll close public comment and then we'll go to, item 1, which is the report of the fire chief. Mark?
Director Crowley, members of the board and our staff. Happy to share with you my January Fire Chief's report. Happy New Year to everyone. First of all, just a quick facilities update. Not a lot has changed on the Fire Station 1 update report. As you can see, the biggest items are the board approved in December moving forward on Work Directive 3 with communicate architects for the construction documents. The majority of the highlighted parts there are, as is the case with every month, the changing balance in our CIP fund. And then one other additional item is just the resubmittal comments that were incorporated from our neighborhood meeting, and those will be resubmitted at the end of this month. Going on to recruitments and promotions, we actually had one fire captain promotion that occurred on, I think it was January 4th, when we gave Dave Magnan his badge and hat. That is a result of us permanently filling the second training captain position. So the new training captain is Randy Kelly, who's in there. And so that opened up a new position. And so Magnan is now a probationary fire captain. So congratulations to Dave. Update on the community engagement unit. A lot of this stuff has to do with what was happening in the holiday season. But in addition to that, we had a preschool visit at Station 6 and a group visit to Station 6, community events. Engine 2 attended Four Seasons, the employee family holiday party that Director Crowley and I happened to see. Engine 2's crew all engaged over at the Four Seasons. We were out delivering your cinnamon bread, and it was a pretty cool event. Santa was there, and this was for all the employees, and our engines crews were all there taking pictures with the kids. Pretty cool thing. The toy drive, a huge success. Again, this was part of it is the labor group and then just the employees pitching in. And they delivered toys to over 750 kids in partnership with St. Anthony's Church. Number of folks were down there volunteering, myself included. Really impressive, just what they have there. You know, the kids basically get to go shopping, and oftentimes they're escorted by a firefighter as they go through on their little shopping spree and picking out their toys. So that was pretty cool. CPR classes for clergy and staff at St. Raymond's Church in Menlo Park. CPR class for employees at the Four Seasons. Just this past weekend, we had canine training out at the rescue sites. There was participation from our group there. I know Francine was out there also, both hiding from and petting the dogs, the lifeline dogs. And then in addition, and this part of this ties into some stuff I'll talk about in my report, but a couple of items that they wanted to mention was they had there was a fire incident. Part of this is I think they went out there to help, and kind of a message also from fire prevention. There's a fire on a residential fire on West Selby that was contained in the garage because of fire sprinklers that had been installed in the garage. There was a fire incident in Bellhaven, and that was the one on my report. That was the 1300 block of Hill Avenue. This occurred in a home without smoke alarms that likely would have resulted in fatalities, if not for passerbys, good Samaritans that alerted the residents and occupants. which was great. I think that's the one where we still had 2 pets that did not survive, and the family all did. And then also we participated in a multi-agency exercise related to the San Francisco Creek JPA. Chief McDonald, Chief Slice, and Heather all participated in the exercise along with representatives from Palo Alto, Menlo Park, Valley Water, and some other agencies. Moving on in our fire analysis report, nothing unusual in there. At some point in time, we will meet with the board and talk a little bit about response time goals. I will point out that something new that has not shown up or changed anything in there. We went back to, for a while, we were no longer using the automatic vehicle locators and the closest resource responses because there was some unintended consequences with some other jurisdictions. We turned that back on January 12th. So we're back to using that rather than a static dispatching. And so we're just monitoring our response times to make sure there's no negative effects for that. Our hope is that they'll just be positive. New development update. The only item that I'll talk about briefly is the continuing conversations going on with the downtown parking. I think everybody saw Director Solano had reached out and asked a couple questions just about when we're going to see some of the stuff, and Chief Slice put out a really great informational email that kind of just lined out how all of our processes work. So hopefully everybody got that. If you didn't, I have a copy of it here. I'm happy to share it with you. But that's kind of the normal process with anything that we're involved in. So you can see it'll be quite a while before we actually put eyes on that. That said, things do happen. I think I had mentioned at the last meeting that who did we have the Zoom meeting with? The ones that have the USGS site?
Oh, the ones who
Oh,
are doing the
Springline?
SRI,
Yeah.
spring line?
Spring line?
Yeah, that group, sometimes they'll have conversations with us in advance and give us kind of a glimpse of what we're gonna be looking at or their proposals, but we had one of those in December, I think just after our board meeting. And again, that's just informational, gives us an ability to ask them general questions. They talked a little bit just about water supply and access, I think aerial access too, and things like that. Again, normal part of the process. The next 2 items I'm going to kind of switch around because they both have something to do with each other. We had a county chiefs planning meeting. This is a 2-day meeting we do annually with all of the county chiefs. We had it offsite in Monterey. We talk about a variety of things. One of them is, has to do setting some goals for the next year. Another is assignments. And I don't know whether everyone's aware or not, but Chief Ron Myers with North County Fire Authority retired in December. Ron had been a fire chief locally here for over 20 years. Ron also held a couple different positions. The primary one was, this is the fire chief liaison with the ALS JPA. And that was a position that I had indicated some interest in. So I will be the new liaison with the ALS JPA. It's probably one of the more influential positions in that it deals with our dispatch agreement, ambulance transport, and radio infrastructure, all of those. So the hope is, and we have a JPA meeting, I think it's tomorrow night, right, Director Solano? And
Yes.
yeah, the hope is eventually we'll have at least a part-time permanent director there, and that will be me being the kind of the connection with fire chiefs. But that is good in that respect. We do have, as I mentioned, a JPA management committee tomorrow. Important one in that we have our contractor Lincoln Unruh with Raven Tech. We're no longer using him. I think the directors at the time had a little loss of faith and trust in him. So we still are using TEA and Stepford to do our infrastructure improvements, but we're not using Lincoln as a contractor anymore. We'll be sharing information with the board on that tomorrow night, and we can share more after that. Another nice thing, I was invited here at the emergency management retreat panel. This is something that Shruti, our DEM director, did with her team. They did an offsite in Redwood City at the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative building there. And they had, it was a morning session doing some storytelling, and not like Dr. Seuss storytelling, but for people that had been in situations, kind of, in the heat of the fire kind of thing that they could share. It was myself, it was the new returning undersheriff with the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office,
Chris,
yeah. And then a gentleman who is also the emergency manager with San Francisco State University. But really nice opportunity to share some stories. I shared a couple stories just about how we interacted with and made some decisions with Ventura County OES back during the Thomas fire. Just, success stories, and then also some of the things that were, I think in the public side failures, but in our eyes, really great successes. We did not have a single civilian fatality from lack of evacuations, and just a lot of that had to do with the relationships that were built in advance of that fire with the county sheriff and the OES office. So it was a nice opportunity to share those stories. Zoom with the fire chief, in addition to my coffees with the fire chief that we try to do on every Wednesday. Still trying to do a quarterly Zoom with the fire chief. We had one this morning for about 40 minutes. So me sharing some information, and then anything's on the table, Q&A with folks out there. So good engaging time. We record it so that ships that aren't on can go back and actually watch it. Part of it's rumor control, and just to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. I mentioned the toy drive. We had the holiday lunch, great success. Thank you for everyone attending. Just a reminder that we have our badge pinning here at Station 1 this Thursday at 1 o'clock in the engine bay. And then also just outstanding staff reports. Still have the electrification of fire service vehicles, talking about calming devices and on fire code. The E-Prep policy grant conversation, and a new one that was approved and added last month from the Bernstein about discussing district goals for response times. The other events on here that we didn't talk about, we talked about the Hill Fire. We also had a flooding event on Christmas Eve in Bellhaven. That was one we weren't even called to. We actually came upon it initially. And then we had a structure fire in a 1,000 block of Garden Street. That concludes my report.
Any questions or comments for the chief? Chuck?
I just had a comment about the outstanding staff reports. 3 of them say discuss. And I know sometimes board members want to talk about it as a board, they've gotten information and so forth. I'm not sure there has to be a staff report for something that says discuss. I guess it certainly could be, because it would help inform the discussion. But in some cases, it's kind of a free form thing. And I'm just saying that because we're getting a backlog of these things. And it occurs to me that if we didn't have to have staff reports, maybe we could get through them more quickly.
So I think that's probably with at least 2 of them that might actually work on. Let me chat about that offline with Director Crawley and see if there's some low hanging fruit there where we can actually, without a lot of staff work, come to the board.
Well, traffic calming devices, almost everybody knows what they are. There's nothing technical about them or anything like that. And it might be good to kind of have a discussion to see where people want to go, and then do a staff report based on possible alternatives and so forth.
That might be work too. I think, yeah, from my stance, I tend to try and over-inform, and so maybe that's not necessary, right? In providing you with some advanced work on that, but that could be a good, a possibility.
Thanks, Chuck. Anyone else? Okay, any public
Oh,
comment? Oh,
I forgot one more thing because I just got here. Don't forget, everyone, February 28th, the crab Chipino feed at the warehouse.
What date?
February
February
Saturday, February
28th.
28th, I think it's at 5:30.
5 to 9 at the warehouse.
So it's a fundraiser for the canines. And it's going, so all the funds are going through the foundation that was formed out there. It's a 501c3. And come join us out there. Tickets are, I know we've got, I'll send around a flyer to everyone. So if you're interested or have friends that are interested, have a link. Yes, sir.
Oh, I wanted to ask also about the flooding that went on. I mean, it made the newspapers and headlines, and even on the television news and so forth. Was there a serious problem, or did people just not rake up the leaves out of the drain or something?
I think it was the city that didn't do it, right?
Well, I don't know, that's what I'm trying to figure out if we've got a serious problem out there that's permanent, or is this something that just somebody didn't get out there to rake up leaves?
Right here, I'm just looking at the report. It says West Bay Sanitary worked to clear debris from underground system on Willow Road. So, yeah, my guess is it's probably a combination of both. Sometimes with big first storms of the season, you end up with unexpected debris that comes down through the gutters and clogs those things up. Yeah, oftentimes that's what happens, right? That storm drains get covered up with some leaves, and that may be an issue.
It just seems like there's an easy fix to something like that compared to when something overflows the banks.
Yeah, well, we have even talked about it informally as part of our volunteer program for people to adopt a storm drain, and so when we have rains, they can be out there with a rake or a shovel in their boots and keep the drains flowing. That can prevent use. That might be an opportunity for us in the future on those rainy events. I know I go around a variety of different places, and you see people out there who have volunteered to be their block coordinator for their storm drain, and they rotate through and keep it flowing. So that might be something.
Yeah.
Virginia,
Virginia,
I have a question. Like that.
What is Chuck done? Are you done, Chuck?
Yeah.
Okay, Rob?
Yeah, I have a quick, Chief, is it SOP or standard operating procedure for our fire trucks to go out and remove trees
Remove trees?
from the street?
I don't know if we have a policy for it or against it, but generally, it should be a Caltrans or Public Works or things like that. But if there's an immediate life hazard or something like that, they can take the tree down, but not buck it up and clear the roads.
Yeah, last Saturday, there was a tree down across Bay Road, and Engine 5 showed up and removed the tree. And it was reported to the city of Menlo Park, because my wife did it. And the fire department showed up to do it.
Okay.
So, does that fall within our responsibility or not?
Not necessarily, but there's oftentimes where they go above.
They were
and
just
beyond
nice
all the time.
people,
Yeah.
those firefighters, to remove the tree the way they did.
Hopefully it wasn't a heritage tree.
Is that the exception?
On major roadways, dispatch will dispatch engines throughout the county as a general policy. And the county engines will generally try to remove it if they can, typically size
Yeah.
limited.
But that wasn't my question, Gary. My question was, is there an SOP or some agreement between the city and us dealing with removal of trees like that?
I think the firefighters are just generally fix-it folks that want to get things done, and if they have the tool and the ability, they'll do it. We don't have the funds.
No, I
It's
think
really
we should
gonna
have
depend on the
something
engine
like
company
that.
captain, so.
That might be a request of directors coming up here at the end of our meeting. Thank you, Chief.
Sure.
Any other comments, Robert? Anything? Okay, thanks, Chief. And we'll move on to item 2, which is the consent calendar. So before we have a motion on that, it was brought to my attention by Robert and by Michelle that the minutes for items 7 and 8 don't reflect but the votes are not in there. So I just wanted to, I'll make the motion to approve the consent calendar with the addition of the vote count for items 7 and 8, which are the same of 5 ayes and 0 no.
What page are you on?
Page 23 in the packet. So it's page 2 of 5 in the minutes.
Second.
Okay, so I just made a motion to approve the consent calendar with
I'll
the,
second.
Gary just seconded.
Oh, you did? Good.
Yeah, with the addition of the vote counts for items 7 and 8, which are the same, which of 5 ayes and 0 noes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, roll call please, Michelle.
Director Bernstein?
Aye.
Director Bloom?
Aye.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Director Solano?
Aye.
Director Crawley?
Aye. That motion carries. And then now we'll go to the regular agenda, which is the site visit for the Board of Directors. And if you're attending by Zoom, we'll return to the meeting after this very short and fun site visit. Thank you. Okay, are you leading the site
Gage
visit?
is gonna lead
Oh,
us
Gage,
on the site
okay.
visit. This is a first for us, a little field trip during the
Yay.
year.
Everybody bring their flashlights.
I have one on my. Well, that's what I was calling you about before I got this out.
Oh, we did, I mean,
I think I was
earlier in the week.
actually late last week.
Wow. We don't let people have cell phones ringing in the school.
I called you at your school.
Oh, on my office phone. Oh, I'm sorry, that's another problem altogether. I have about 40 messages and I can't get through them without getting interrupted. So I'm way behind at answering my message. That's the problem there. I thought you meant were all
I
here.
both,
You did?
yeah. Okay, so Gage, thank you for that site visit of the emergency storage supply container. It was outstanding and thanks for all the hard work that you're doing and thanks for asking for our input too.
We're looking for,
Yep, Chuck?
I was just curious about, I think it's really important to get this stuff done and out. I'm not rushing so much as trying to understand, are you gonna do these one at a time? Or are you gonna get like 8 of them there and do 8 at a time and get the whole thing done at one time?
so the initial goal, according to the chief, was to get 3 with the budget that I had. So my original goal was to get 3 done with the budget I had. This one took the longest. It was actually done last month. It just couldn't fit on the agenda for last month. It took me about 4 months total to build. A lot of that was, this is the first one. I had everything up here. I really didn't know what I needed. So sometimes waiting for parts, it just took a lot longer to build the first one. Now that I have the recipe done, the next ones are gonna be a lot quicker to build. So depending on obviously supply chain and everything else, trying to get batteries and.
Are you
inverters.
expecting to build them yourself or can you hire contractors or, I'm talking about people to build them?
We're gonna have some of the stuff built out by other people. Now that I know where like electrical outlets go, the company who built the box itself, the blank box, was a company called Connex West in Oakland. Now that I know where some of the electrical is gonna go, I'm gonna have them build it already in the walls. So when we get it, I'll have the outlets and all the electrical will already be run. On the box side, they're gonna build that wall that separates the 2 sides. I didn't know
exactly what dimension that wall was gonna go, so the first one definitely took a lot longer, the next ones will be a lot quicker.
I mean, you need professional equipment to get through the steel walls of that thing, I assume, right?
I mean, yeah, you need a lot to get through there.
Any other comments,
Great job.
questions?
Thank you.
Okay, then we'll move on to item 6, which is the first reading of an ordinance adopting by reference the 2024 International Fire Code with 2025 California amendments and local requirements for the city of Menlo Park. Sue engage.
I feel more official. So you might be asking why I'm bringing this back to the board again. This was already adopted, by the board. First reading, second reading, public comment, everything. So recently the city of Menlo Park appointed a new building official. And with the new building official, this was after we already adopted the first time we did it back in September for the first reading. He reviewed it and he had a comment. He wanted to know why the city of Menlo Park's ordinance is different than all of our other jurisdictions' ordinance. So to refresh everybody, the only difference in the
Was the
ordinance,
sprinkler.
other than the sprinkler ordinance, with percentages, 75% rather than 50, was the city of Menlo Park does not adopt our SNG, Standards and Guideline Manual.
Right.
They never wanted it, according to the old building official, they didn't want it in the ordinance. They said that they would still follow it, but the new building official was like, we should put it in there. In his research, they used to adopt the SNG, but for whatever reason, in 2023, he took it out. Before my time, I don't know why. So his request was to add back the SNG to make it standard across all of our jurisdictions. So I'm here to present you the new ordinance with the only addition, which is I don't know what page it is in your agenda, but it's on section 101.
Is
It's section 101. After section 5, section 6, it's section
It's-
101.
page 103,
Thank you.
the scope and general requirements.
Yes, so all that was exactly the same, but under 101.6, which is Standards and Guideline Manual, that was just cut and pasted from all the other ordinances into the city of Menlo Parks. Well, the only amendment that I made to this ordinance was that addition. So I'm here in front of you to recommend the board of directors accept the report as presented and present the ordinance to the public for the first reading.
Basically, just to reiterate, it's gonna basically put every one of our jurisdictions on the same page.
As far as the SNG goes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The
So-
sprinkler ordinance is still
Yeah, a
a
little
little
different
different,
per
75%
juris- yeah.
residential.
Yeah,
Everyone else is 50, but as far as SNG goes, it'll be standard across the board.
okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A discussion?
I'm not personally against this, I think they all should be standard, so that's kind of my framework, but I was around at the meeting. And it was a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago, when these things started diverging. And the reason was that there were some very influential developers in Menlo Park who caught the ear of some council members. And they said, no, that's why there's a variance in terms of the sprinkler requirements. I just wonder if we can make this change now, but the city council still has to pass it. And I'm a little concerned that the building official wants to do it, but I hope he's talked to people or somehow talked to council members, or that there's been some sort of informational campaign. Because to go through all this work and put it out there, I don't know if they're still around. I mean, I know who some of them are and so forth. But and some of them are still around. Some of them are still developers, still living in Menlo Park. I don't know how closely they're gonna read this, but
I was hesitant as to modify it back to this. But when when the building official recommended it, I recommended he reached out to the city manager, assistant city manager, and everybody there. And they feel that with the current council, there won't be any objections to it.
Will it be explained, and so, I mean, will somebody inform the council like you've just done with us?
I will be there for the meeting for the ratification. So if they have questions, I'm there to actually answer the questions. That's all like my authority as far as my
That's all
authority
we can
goes.
do, yeah. But it sounds like they're willing to at least go with the recommendation from the
So I
city
remember the
manager.
objections to the sprinklers and why that, I mean, basically it was a
Yeah.
money objection. But I don't know what the objections were to the manual and so forth.
If I do research, if I find out why it wasn't put in there, and I couldn't get a better answer.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? And
I
it's,
just want to add that the motion should also include to direct staff to set a public hearing date.
Yes, to accept the report and set the public hearing date.
Thank you.
that,
And Director Solano, do you agree
Second
to
it.
that addition?
Yes, thank you.
Do we have to have another public hearing on this change?
this is the first reading.
The first reading, 30 days, and then ratification
Yeah.
and signing.
So next month it'll be, and this is in between, you're gonna be speaking at the council.
Yeah, so I'm
meeting.
drafting, they wanted a more detailed, what's exactly happening, what's changing.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call please, Michelle.
Director Bernstein?
Aye.
Director Bloom?
Aye.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Director Solano?
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Aye.
Thank you. Director Crowley?
Aye. Thanks, Gage. So at the meeting, you and Mark will be there or just, I mean, I'll be, whoever's the liaison should be there.
I'm dealing with the building official and the city manager and assistant, and where they want to include the.
Okay. Sounds good. Item 7, which is to accept the 2026 district board and committee meeting calendar. I'm assuming that everyone had a chance to, it's pretty standard. There hasn't,
I'll make a motion, accept.
okay, so Rob's made a motion to accept the meeting calendar for the board and the committee meetings. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Thanks for putting this together, Michelle. Roll call, please.
Director Bernstein?
Aye.
Director Bloom?
Aye.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Director Solano?
Aye.
Director Crowley?
Aye. So that motion carries and we'll go to item 8, which is to accept the 2026 standing committee and liaison appointments. And so I just want to thank Michelle for putting this together, this report. Basically, I got a hold of everyone. I was trying to get a hold of people more than once. And this is kind of what I came up with. And I don't think everyone's going to be happy, but I was just trying to balance everything and be respectful of people's time and trying to keep the liaisons together with the people, the board members who live in those cities. That maybe in the case of Menlo Park, just because there's that divisive issue and I kept myself on there since it'd be like a continuation of what I've already been working with and the council members I've been working with. But I am open to suggestions. Any Chuck,
What's the divisive issue in Menlo Park?
the parking lot,
Oh, I see.
which, and it's a huge issue.
I know, I just didn't know what you were referring to.
Sorry, yeah, the parking lots in back of the downtown buildings along Oak Grove. Is there, yeah, Chuck?
Yeah, I'll also say, I'm not happy with this. I gave you a, can you pass it out to the board members?
What was the,
I had written my comments about the appointments, and
oh, I didn't, did you send that to the board?
you are getting it now for the first time. Thank you.
It's a surprise document.
It's not listed. I only got the packet on Thursday or Friday, and so
No, I tried calling you, Chuck.
anyway, how shall I say, I disappointed in the distribution of the assignments. I mean, in theory, the work is supposed to be roughly evenly distributed, it's shared work. But I don't think it is evenly distributed or even close to it. And I've sort of summarized in the middle of the page here, you can see that in terms of the number of assignments and so forth, it's very, very unbalanced. And this is what's happened for the last 2 years. We've had this, and I thought we were moving in a new direction. I even mentioned in the minutes, or I mentioned in the meeting that, and it appeared in the minutes, that I was encouraged by what happened last month, where we brought back at least one of the board members into the fold of what was going on. And anyway, I do appreciate board president had appointed, first of all, I appreciate that she called me and asked. I hadn't been asked what committees I was interested in for several years. I appreciated also that I got an appointment to the finance committee, which was one of my preferences. But I basically had only one other appointment, which was to the county. And I feel slighted. And I'm not here to right the wrongs or anything like that. It's just basically, I want to say that I don't want to participate in any of this. I feel like it's either some sort of vindictiveness or it's a matter of kind of a censorship of comments that I've made in the past or something. I don't know what it is. I don't like it and I don't want to participate in it. So as I've done for the past 2 years, I'm going to do it once again. I'm not going to have anything to do with the committees or the liaisons or any of that. So that's my position on this.
So basically that you would be, yes, Robert.
Chuck, I'm sorry to feel the way you feel, but in the sake of trying to hopefully to not appease you, but to kind of, I would be willing to give up my seat on it. So really, is that will encourage you to participate as a board member in particular activity. And if it's a numerical number that you're looking for versus the committee itself upon it, so I'd be willing to set aside that you facilitate that. Take my spot on the facility and Gary, you chair, and we chair the.
Sure.
That's very gracious, and I thank you for, I really didn't come here to do horse trading or try to tweak things or whatever. What I was really looking for is dedication to be collegial, to share the work and to be respectful of people's differing opinions and so forth. And I feel that's not apparent in in the assignments that were made. So I'm gonna respectfully decline, but again, I'm grateful for what you're doing, and the facilities committee is a very, good committee and so forth. But I feel like I would like to see the board, and particularly the administration, or 3 members of the board, let's say it directly. I'd like to see more of a commitment to moving forward. I think the election of Rob as a vice president was a major step forward. It was something where 2 years ago, we kind of violated the normal succession. And I think it's a slap in the face to someone, and I feel like that's where I was very hopeful at the last meeting that had been overcome. Robert, you made the nomination, and I appreciate what you did to making that nomination and so forth. But I'm still looking for commitment. I feel like this goes back to comments that I made in the past about performance. I mean, I care deeply about how we're doing, And I'm not a person who minces words. If I don't like something, I'll say it, and I don't care whether it's for public consumption or not for public consumption. We're here, we don't have a choice. Public consumption is how we communicate. And so that's it. In any case, I do appreciate the gesture, and I appreciate what you did at the last meeting also. But I think we can go further on it, so.
Well,
Can I say something? After 2 years of not participating in committees, I don't know why you would expect it to be any different. You haven't participated in any of these committees. So she put you on to the finance committee. There's a certain amount of coming up to speed with what the committees are doing and the details of them. You've chosen not for 2 consecutive years, this will be the 3rd, to not participate. You talk about dividing the work equally and everything, you're dumping the work of the committees back on 4 members yet again for the 3rd year in a row. So you can look at it through your lens, and you can look at it through the lens that you're being unfair to the other 4 directors on this board.
May I respond to that?
yes,
First of all, I think I participate fully. There are few, if anyone, who does more preparation for the meetings than I do. And I think those of you who are on the board know that that's true. I read all the agendas for all the committees before the meeting. So to the extent I know what's going on in the committees, I read it and I respond publicly in the meeting here. And I feel like I can participate kind of informally or de facto on the finance committee by simply being up to speed about what's going on, asking questions here and going forward. I feel like I am doing my homework. And I think I've done my homework when other members of the board have not read things that are in their packet. It's obvious just by the questions that are raised. So I'm not going to apologize for not doing my work. I've done it, and I think the board has benefited from me doing that work.
I just want to say that there's the things that you said in your letter, Chuck, in terms of retaliation or censorship was definitely not in my mindset when I made the committee appointments. I actually forgot that the CSDA thing was with LAFCO, so I actually called Rob to ask him if he wanted to break that apart, because he's been on the CSDA board, and I think he's kind of holding back on that right now. So I'm on 3 liaisons just because I forgot about the CSDA and San Mateo LAFCO possibly being separated. Rob asked for the EMS JPA, and I'm gonna stay on San Francisco Creek. They don't really, meet that much, once a month maybe, if there's anything to do. So, it's not like I'm trying to make these assignments in a weighted way. If you're asking about, maybe even Menlo Park, for example, I think right now they want someone who is a little more neutral on some of their big issues, including the parking lot and development. And that is no slight on the 2 of y'all at all. So I just want to make that very clear. I'm just trying to balance what they want, because they know that y'all are actively engaged, and that's okay. They appreciate that. But I just think that, and you might have a differing opinion, right, as Rob said, and I think that's fine, but they want someone and I live in the county, so I don't have a vote on this one way or the other. So and I'm not doing any advocacy work for this. So I was just trying to balance everything. So I just want to make it clear that this has nothing, there's no retaliation or censorship involved. And I'm sorry that you believe that to be the case. I think that's your opinion, and I respect your opinion. But the fact for me is that that was never in my consciousness. Yes, Robert.
I think some of the math is wrong that you have.
I can't hear you, Robert.
The math is a little bit off on Chuck. Because when I see that there's only 2 total, when I look down at the document, it seemed like you got 3 positions
For me or for who?
for Chuck.
Oh, okay.
And you got the district, 3 and District 4. You also on the finance, so that's 3, and you had 2 halves. I wasn't sure if that was representing the same thing or not. So the numbers, your numbers all are 1, which I got 3 myself, so I think Rob only have 2, so maybe we can.
I can't hear you.
But the point that I wanted to make here is trying to state is that I hear what you're saying, you're saying that you've been mistreated over the last several years. And I think, and you appreciate Rob being on the guy selected. I think, you know, you can do 1 or 2 things. You can continue this route for the next year and the year after, as long as you're on the board. But at some point, you gotta turn it loose and begin to try to, because your behavior, sometimes our behavior, I won't just say you, our behavior, it can be consistent and you can stick to it, but it may not necessarily get you where you would like to be and is bored to be by continuing your religion going on the 3rd year, you know, participating. And that, you know, to me, I think at some point, you're not gonna let it go. And I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just saying, think about it for the future.
To make a recommendation.
Yes.
I think we should move on and reassign these positions.
I would just-
I'd make a recommendation that you put Robert Jones in on the finance committee with me. And then we make Rob Solano the liaison for the county organizations. And we vote on it, we call it a night on discussing this.
Are y'all okay with that? I don't know where Rob is.
Well, as you all know, I'm a commissioner for San Mateo County Oversight for the sheriff. So I deal with all 5 board of supervisors in that position. And as I told Virginia, since I'm dealing with them in that area,
Wanted
I
to
think
spread the wealth.
it's kind of a duel with the fire district. They know that I am a member, of course, of the fire district. I've been nominated by one of the board of supervisors and voted 5-0 to be on their commission. And everybody knows the history with that, and I'm also on the Fire District Association of California on their executive board too, for our District 4. So I've got a lot of assignments relative to not
The
only
county.
dealing with fire, but also dealing with San Mateo County. As to the different committees or the standing committees, I mean, we all have a voice and a vote when it comes to the entire board. So I've been board president, I've been vice president a few times. I mean, you know, I've been on all these committees. So for people not to vote for you for different committees, I don't know what the reasoning is. I know I'm very well qualified, as we all are, to be on any one of these committees. But sometimes politics go in, right? So
Well, Rob,
I
so
don't think my position doing the county liaison is appropriate, because I'm already on a commission that deals with a very sensitive matter involving the sheriff's office.
To me, District 4 and 3.
yeah, so
I think
his,
4.
Yeah.
well, let me
Yeah.
just say something really, so Rob and I had this discussion and he was great. You were very gracious about this, Rob. Let me just make that very clear. Because you actually said that since he has a relationship with the supervisors, that, you know, in order to maybe strengthen the fire district's position with the county, someone else should be the liaison, right? And that's why I suggested Chuck on here, because I do think it's important. But if you don't want to do that, Chuck, if you want to do 4, Robert, I'll take 3, or Gary can take 3, we can keep it the same, and that's fine. Okay. So that's, and I was hoping to make these 2 as one liaison position, because, you know, if you're going to a county, if you're going to a board of supervisors meeting, you're going to listen to everything, and you can probably call up anyone and, you know, talk to them. So So I was just trying to streamline it and also make it balanced based on everyone's input and as much input as I got. And so that's why this came up like this.
I think
So,
you just eliminate the District 3, District 4 characterization.
well, that's what I tried
This
to
is
do.
County of
County-
San Mateo.
And that's what I
And
was
so we
trying
have
to
a
do.
liaison for the
Right.
county supervisors.
Do you want to do that?
But
What,
I'm
County
fine with
supervisor?
You as the board president,
Okay.
just be the
I can be
liaison
the
for
liaison.
the county, for
If-
both
Unless
districts.
Robert wants to do
At
it.
least it's like my house, or during talks,
There you go.
talk to her,
But that's easy.
walk down the streets, talk to her. So what do you want me to do?
Well, so, I mean, there is a suggestion, and that's what I tried to do, is to just break down the district, put the districts aside and make the San Mateo County liaison as one, as the county liaison and not just for District 3 or District 4 separated like that. Just so that it's, and I put Chuck on there because he's on another county committee, which is the redevelopment, I don't know what it's called, but it deals with the redevelopment money and funds throughout the county. And, I know that they deal with only the cities that actually deal with redevelopment. And so I thought that might give Chuck an opportunity to strengthen ties on a bigger level. But, I mean, we can still keep the same districts, but, maybe we should just break it down for one liaison, but I don't know. You really, I think if you wanted.
Need to go and have to do a policy, board, on a policy meeting.
No, I mean, you know what, if you want to just stay with District 4, that's fine. If we want to keep it this way, but I was hoping that we would just have San Mateo County as one. Would you be mind doing that for the whole county?
If that, whatever,
Yeah, that works great. And so you would be the county liaison plus the East Palo Alto liaison.
we'll forward board and these all.
Yeah, no, I know, but there's the city part and then the county part. Do you want any part of the county, Rob? I mean, I know you're like swamped with county stuff too.
And I think you want to specifically stay away from
Yeah,
the
okay,
county.
that's fine.
And
So
the
then,
board.
we'll have Robert, so we'll break down 3 and 4 and have Robert be both. Okay, so right now, then the changes would be that Robert and Gary would be on the finance committee,
You okay
and-
with that, Robert?
Sure.
and then
I'm the
Robert,
chair.
Gary, and then and you're the chair of the facilities committee still, Robert,
Yeah,
and then Robert will be the county liaison.
We need a
So,
motion to approve it?
yes, as
So I
amended,
I move that we approve it with the amendment that instead of Chuck Bernstein on finance, Robert Jones will serve finance in that position. And the other amendment is Robert Jones will serve as the county of San Mateo liaison.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please, Michelle.
I'm sorry, can I get who made the motion and?
Yes,
did.
Director Jones made the motion
No,
and,
I
I mean,
made the
Director Bloom made the motion and Director Jones seconded it.
Okay, Director Bernstein?
All right,
Director Bloom?
Aye.
Director Jones?
I,
Director Solano?
Aye.
Director Crawley?
Aye, so that motion carries. Then we're on to item 9, which is new proposed agenda items. Robert, Rob, did you have, you wanted to propose, you mentioned it, do you want to propose it?
Yeah,
Thanks, Gabe.
I just want, I don't know how to word it, but I think there's some type of a disconnect between the city of Menlo Park or the communities that we serve relative to these public work
Oh,
assignments that should be done by their particular public works department than having our firefighters go out there and remove trees. Now, I can see if it's, that's why we
If it's
need
on a
some type
car.
of, that's why we need some type of a SOP or guidelines relative to call out a fire truck. Because once a fire truck's out of service, if it becomes a natural disaster, we'll have to respond to probably other things than removing trees from the roadways. And it would have to be coordinated through our county communications too, because I'm sure they gave them the call when it came in. So that's what I'm proposing, that we work it.
Agenda item title.
Oh, you want me to title it? How about let's do public works responsibilities involving regular and emergency incident situations. Would that be okay, chief? You're the professional here. I'm just a guy trying to find out who's got to do this, the work here.
Specific to Menlo Park.
Right. Well,
No,
Menlo
for the
Park
district.
or any of the communities that we serve. Every
Yeah,
one of
for-
the cities
For
have a
basically
public
our whole
works department.
district.
Right.
Yeah, it's a district
County
wide.
does is, you know, and our communities that we serve, they all have a public works department.
Okay, so that's gonna go on the next agenda to see if we are approving that.
That's all I have. Thank you.
For approving it.
Yeah, for the net, yeah. Any others? Okay, item 10, liaison reports. We probably don't have a lot of liaison reports, Atherton.
I didn't.
Um,
They actually had a study session today for the last one. Their meetings tomorrow.
Okay, East Palo Alto, Robert?
The meetings were same time as ours, so today.
Okay. City of Menlo Park, the only thing that kind of came on my radar was the possible, well, the waiver of the fee to annex that one unincorporated section near Santa Cruz and Alameda de los Olgas into the city, which has been tried before, so there was a fee waiver for it. Yeah, so San Mateo County,
Can I just
yeah,
ask a question
sure.
about that? From this district standpoint, it doesn't matter, they're in the district, right?
yeah, yeah. I just wanted to put it out there because I don't know what else is gonna have, that was like one of their main things that they were talking about. District 3, Gary? District 4, Robert?
I didn't really.
Okay. EMS JPA, Rob, I know y'all have that meeting
That's tomorrow
tomorrow.
night.
Yeah,
and,
what's on the agenda?
Well, we have a closed session involving a communications company that we've used for a long time. And that's on the agenda.
Are y'all electing officers tomorrow too?
I don't know, chief. I don't think so. I think Rico's still going to be the president and Sylvester's going to be the vice president or the chair, co-chair. So I'll have other information and they do have a quorum, as I was told. So
Okay,
is that right, chief? That's what we were told. Okay.
okay, so
Thank
there
you.
will be a meeting. Okay, San Francisco Creek, JPA. Basically, I've been in touch with the CEO. I went to their, I think their last meeting, just to let them know that there was our reorg and that, you know, we're interested in having a presentation. And so the presentation and going back and forth with the CEO of the JPA with Mark and me. Right now, the presentation is scheduled for our next board meeting on February 17th. And so I guess we're going to continue working on what exactly the presentation is going to be. So if you have any ideas on what you would like to add to, it's going to be their basic presentation. Like,
Can we have a copy of that before the meeting?
yeah, I'm gonna try to get
Great,
it for
thank
her
you.
because I think that they've done it for other jurisdictions, so. But I wanted to inform everyone that the 17th just got firmed up like late last week.
Oh, great.
Right, so, or Monday, whenever it is we met, Mark and I met, so, so I will ask for the presentation to be given to us in advance so that we know. But if there's any other issue that you want Margaret Bruce to touch on, who's the CEO of the JPA, let me or the chief, or maybe let the chief know, so that can be included in the presentation. Cause I know that like East Palo Alto and Menlo Park, they have a seat at the table for the JPA because there are so many, they abut the creek. And so if there's anything that you want to surface, then that would probably be the time to do it and to add on to the report or to the presentation.
This kind of.
Yeah, Please.
At the last meeting in December, you know, they are building a levee or want to increase the levee around the northeast part of East Palo Alto. to compensate for the high tide and anticipating flooding. But the question that I raised to
Margaret?
Margaret.
Yeah,
Was that, will that levy have some way of generating crest? Will there be any kind of mechanism put in place to do that inform the resident who will probably be less than 100 yards from that levy that is generated to crest?
like a notice thing,
A
notification?
Or something that kind of let folks know. And she said she didn't know.
Is that the area that breached about 7 or 8 years ago? They had a break in it. It evacuated most of that neighborhood. Was that where?
That was, that was further down, close to the golf course.
Okay,
There was where the levee runs that far and breached and broke at that point. Where it all of the tipping of the gardens.
yeah, okay. So that was a different part of the levee
That's a
system
different
there. Because I remember when that broke,
Yeah.
because we were, the search and rescue team, we were up in the mountains dealing with storm issues. And they were going to redispatch us for the evacuation, but we couldn't even get there. The roads were all closed.
They made improvements and so that helped, especially the little salt mouth that dug into the levees.
Yeah. That's what I remember. But the notification back then, if I could remember right, was sheriff's office doing almost door to door and radio broadcasts from vehicles. There was no broadcast notification on that one at the time. So it's an important topic.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
how do you let affected
People
residents
know.
quickly know?
Yeah,
You could say the same thing in that Hamilton Road area that just happened.
Yeah, near
just
Facebook.
now. In the chief's report, because it wasn't a catastrophic flooding that flooded houses. There was a large number of cars, is what I understand, were lost. The people didn't get out of the area. Once they're flooded, they're gone.
Right.
They become flood vehicles.
Especially at Station 77. where-
right, and that's what he's
That's what I'm
talking
talking
to,
about. The
yeah,
one that was in the chief's
Yeah.
report caused
yeah,
one.
that was in
There was
Bellevue.
pretty significant property damage,
Right.
Yeah.
even though it didn't strike me as a risk to
And
life
it was a
as
public,
much
it
as
was
it
a
was
public
property
works
damage
issue.
risk.
Yeah.
East Palo Alto, that levee system with
They
the
don't have
higher
staff.
king tides that we just had
Creek has no
and the
staff.
nature of the tides, that's actually a life safety issue.
It is.
Yeah.
As far as notification goes.
So do you want to put in a request, Mark, maybe that we ask her to touch on the issue of notification, and especially, probably for any of the
It's
areas that
really
would be
anything on either
affected,
side of
yeah,
her
of the
creek.
creek. Yeah, but he was talking about the levees, but I think
It
notification
has to do
in
with, it has to
general.
do with which areas are
Yeah.
likely to
Yeah,
flood
to flood, yeah,
along the creek setting.
Yeah.
And the creek contributes to the levee issue.
yes,
And-
that's
and-
correct.
If the reason the whole Bay Area kind of dodged the bullet in this last king tide, they were several inches above any of the prior king tides. So like in Sausalito, where it always floods, except that this time it was 3 feet higher in those same areas. The only thing that saved kind of the whole San Francisco Bay Area in the recent king tides was that the heavy weather, the heavy rains and the winds did not hit at the time of high tide. The rain and winds hit at the time of low tide.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so what happens in the interface with the creek is if it's a king tide and we get a significant weather event, that water coming down the creek has nowhere to go because the tide is so high. And so then it just floods over the creek, it floods over the levees. It's a snowball effect almost of how the failure works associated with the king tides. And the king tides are getting higher, not lower.
Rob?
Yeah, Chief, since that creek is split between the city of Palo Alto and us, of course, Santa Clara County and San Mateo County, Ken Duker, who's their emergency manager, I'm sure he has
Information.
a complete plan when that creek goes or gets overflowed. Does the creek have some type of a plan for overflow, since they don't even have a staff that works for them? So it's not like they heavily depend on the city of Palo Alto. I remember when the bridges overflowed, it was the city of Palo Alto that had the heavy equipment that cleared those bridge areas and cleared the creek. So.
So, it's good, so let me just add on to this, so I've been in touch with the chair of the Creek JPA, who's the vice mayor of Palo Alto, Greer Stone. And I think he's going to attend this too,
Good.
and probably, I think probably we should reach out to, the city council of the jurisdictions, just to inform them that we're gonna have this presentation in case they want to attend, because I know that like, well, especially in East Palo Alto and Menlo Park, since they're on the Creek JPA, they're in the Creek JPA. I know that former Mayor Drew Combs was interested in attending this because it's in his district, right? And probably my guess is that Councilmember Cecilia Taylor would probably want to. So if we want to inform the city council members who are members of the Creek JPA, which in our district would basically be the county in East Palo Alto and Menlo Park, if they want to attend this meeting, they can. I know that there's interest, but I don't know who's interested except those two.
Well, what I know is I know that Councilman Taylor, as well as Jones, who runs a nonprofit.
Oh, Pamela? Yeah,
In
Bellhaven.
Bellhaven. They're highly interested.
Yeah.
We have talked on occasion about what to do and how in that particular area. So, yeah, if you can get contact with somebody that's strong.
I was gonna reach out to them, but if you want to reach out to the East Palo Alto members, council members too, just to let them know, because they may want to come and hear what, they've heard a presentation. But just in case, I just wanted everyone to be invited. But so basically the only thing that we might want to ask Margaret about is the notification, the ability to notify people who might be affected. Any other suggestions or comments? If there are any, then let us know before the agenda has to go out. Okay, so reports from directors, item 11. Robert, Chuck?
Excuse me, I was just gonna say that the fireworks around New Year's Eve were again, I mean, it sounded like a war zone going on down in East Palo Alto, and somehow I think it'd be good if we tackled that. It's the kind of thing where I don't know if there were any serious issues like hands blown off or blindness or something, but just the incredible amount of explosions for sometimes 2 or 3 hours at a time. And
Throughout the night or around
no,
midnight?
it was better than it had been. So they tended to stop around midnight was the last of it, and it didn't start much before sunset or dark, around 8 o'clock or something like that. It wasn't at 4 in the afternoon, so it was all night long. So it seems to be getting a little bit better. But yeah, I just think more needs to be done. And the East Palo Alto police aren't arresting people, and they should be. It ends up being big business. Each of these shells, I was looking up the prices on them. These shells that people are exploding are about $50 a piece. I just don't understand where people get the money to blow up, 20 of these things in a night or something.
That's a lot. Rob?
I don't have anything, thanks.
Gary?
I have nothing.
Okay, I just have a quick thing. Holiday lunch and years of service recognition was great. Thank you, Michelle. Four Seasons is great as usual. And I'm gonna follow up with, or kind of add on to what the chief said about the crab cipino feed on February 28th from 5 to 9. That benefits California Task Force 3's K9 unit. It's going to be at the USAR warehouse, so spread the word. And I think that is it for tonight. So unless there's any other public comment, Michelle, then we'll adjourn the meeting at 8:37.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Lisa,